Hello, everyone. You are in for a treat. We are doing a very fun episode of Twitch today, and I am very excited to get into it. We're going to be doing a draft episode. So if you're new to the FinOps world or thinking about setting up your own FinOps team or roles or department, whatever, this is the episode for you to get the scoop on everything about FinOps, all the basics. But let's get into it. We're saying hi to these guys. Hi, Savannah. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to see you get incredibly competitive today, as I love to see you do.
Well, I was just saying before we went on air, I compete a lot in sport generally, but I'm a competitive person and I like this about myself. But I win a lot of things, I would say, in the optics world, humble brag. But I do try a lot. And I just realized I've never tried against Alex. So now I'm scared because she's OG FinOps. So she's probably going to win. But Alex, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm disappointed that my background is blurred and I cannot figure out how to unblur it because I have my keys light, but that's okay. I'll survive. I'm good. It's freezing in the south. I don't know what it is in Celsius, but it's 40 degrees for us. So it's really cold. And I'm really excited. I haven't been back in a minute.
Yeah.
It's just like old times, guys.
I hope I don't mess up.
Throw back. Well, let's get into it. So welcome everyone to the Keys to AWS Optimization, the show we share stories, concepts, and solutions to help you unlock your spend at AWS. My name is Steph Gooch, and I am the host here. We have Savannah and Alex, who you have met before if you've been on the channel. And hey, if you're watching us live, don't forget you can go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to see it's almost 200 episodes, I think now, which is insane. So go there, subscribe, make sure you stay up to date with all the content.
How far from 200 are we? Just real quick.
I have no idea. Because there's loads of videos in there that are short, so we crop down the shorts. So we'll have to do that. But I didn't celebrate the 100, but I think we're getting close. We'll have to look out for it.
How cool would it be if we hit 200 around the exact same time that we hit the exact 5 years of optics?
Oh, that would be cool. And get 2,000 subscribers at the same time?
Yeah, I love it.
As you can see, we're wearing, especially me, I feel like I wear cloud swag constantly when I'm on this show, but we're wearing sports jerseys or sports tops. And we're doing this because... Well, I don't know what you call them. I'm not supposed to say. I don't know what this is. I think this is basketball. I don't know. I got it Primark. And to be honest,
Steph, it has a basketball on it.
Lakers. Anyway, so what we're doing today is we're doing the FinOps Draft. Now, this is based on a podcast I listened to called The Big Picture. Shout out The Big Picture. I'll drop the link in the chat. But it is a great, great podcast. And it is the movie podcast, not films. But what they do is they do draft episodes. And we're going to do the same thing. So we have a bunch of categories, which I'll put up on the screen in a second. And we are going to take it in turns, snake style, to draft the best, what we think are the best elements of the FinOps world and create a board. And the idea is that we have a new team. Alex, why don't you set the scene? Actually, this was your idea to kind of set the theme as a fictional setup.
Oh my! I said, why don't you prep? For anyone who's listening, if you've interviewed with optics or if you've met up with us at a conference and you say, what's your day-to-day like? What are your meetings like? This is actually a great preview of how Savannah, Steph, and I meet on a weekly basis and how our conversations go. So I was saying, you are starting at unicorn company and you sell unicorns and they don't really have FinOps, but they have a pretty good steady incline of spend on cloud. And you are there to set up FinOps practice, and you basically are filling out your toolbox of the different savings motions you can use, tooling you can use. Is that right? Am I doing a decent job? Okay. But there's rules. Go over the rules because this is the part that when I was planning, I got a little confused.
Okay, I'll go. Before we do, let me share my screen. Who's seen a sports draft before? So I think anybody in America has probably seen sports drafts happening. 1 for yes, 2 for no in the chat. So this happens, I believe, in American football. I have no idea. Connor's in
Steph, I'm guessing Steph has not seen a sports draft.
No.
Okay.
No. I didn't even
typically do have them.
It's wild to me. Just it's very different over here. But okay, so everybody else is a bear apart from me, clearly. So let me do the rules. So the idea, there are 6 categories. So let's throw these categories up on screen so everybody can stay with us.
That, can I blow your mind even more about drafts? My 5-year-old Warren has to have, like, he has a draft for his basketball team.
Really?
At school?
Draft them. Well, the kids aren't in the room, but like the parents.
Okay.
Yeah. How crazy is that?
I'm glad the kids aren't in the room because I was like, that would be traumatizing.
Not in today's world. They give everyone trophies. It's fine.
Oh, it's terrible. I'm joking.
So this is beautiful. Did you make it?
No, of course not. Secret Richard made it, which is Secret Richard will be keeping track of our whole board. Couple of questions in the chat already, which is, have you watched The Draft with Kevin Costner?
Oh, I don't think that's really your cup of tea, but great movie.
Is it scary?
No, it's just
okay. I'll look at later. And then and then can I share the YouTube link? Yes, the link is down there. It's all in the chat. All right, so let's go through these. So there's Alex, Savannah, and Steph. So we each get to choose a tool. So any kind of tool that helps you optimize or could help you optimize in the AWS console. No third parties. A first optimization. So Alex's scenario for going into this new company. What is something that you do like straight away and you get it right first off? What is the first optimization you do? Then a concept. So something in the FinOps ether. So we're thinking about things that are in the book of FinOps, things that are maybe not necessarily data points. Maybe they could be. This one's a bit of a broad spectrum of things that you can implement across the business. A role, so somebody to help you. So you've arrived in this company, but who is there to help you along this journey in your FinOps goal? A dashboard of some sort, any kind of dashboard, could be the ones we mention all the time, could be an inbuilt one in the console. And wildcard. Now, wildcard is the best one, and I'm so excited to hear what everyone comes up with this one. The wildcard is anything. So you could hypothetically take something from one of the other categories or something totally random, totally something that we wouldn't even thought of. And that is, I also want to know in the comments in the chat today, what are things that you would pick? If you think we've missed things, we're going to go through that. And any honorable mentions that we didn't miss, we'll go through at the end.
I'm sorry to throw a wrench in this. Should we make a fourth column that's just chat?
But how would we track the chat?
I don't know.
The chat, we'll just keep an eye on the things we
pick.
miss. Yeah. And Cloud Strife, AS is my favorite tool. These are placeholder names, thanks to Secret Richard. I love that's the stats in the chat.
That's his favorite tool, Steph.
Okay, Richard is now going to message me in the private chat to tell us the order. So the order will be snake style. So it will go, first of all, it's going to be Savannah, then Alex, then me on the turn. So it's going to go Savannah, Alex, me, Alex, Savannah. So it go through. Okay.
Okay. Before I say it, and like before we get into it, just to clarify, in this hypothetical company, I am employed by a unicorn company, right? Like I am there. Yes. I'm going to be running it going forward.
You're not optics.
Okay. I'm not just like sending this bundle of stuff down to like somewhere and then leaving.
No. You work there. You're at the company. And just also before you start, what we'll do is we'll say the thing and then we'll explain a bit why, maybe chat about it. But yeah. All right, Savannah, let's go for it.
All right. So I'm picking a tool first.
Okay.
I'm going to pick the cur. Give me the cur.
And
is that a tool?
I think it's a tool.
I think we'll call it a tool in this situation because it doesn't, I was thinking this, it doesn't really fall into another category, but you do use it as like a service. So that's a good one off the board first. Got to explain the cur, Savannah.
Yeah, it's in the console. It's in the billing cost category or cost management console or data exports / cur 2.0, whatever version of it you'd like. I am going to pick the cur because it's got kind of the most data granularity that's there. If you know how to use it, you can basically use it to find anything that you'd like. The rest of our tooling feeds from essentially the same data set. So I could, with some time and energy and effort, rebuild any of the tools that we have in the console or like mock them up using cur data. And in this hypothetical situation, as Steph has clarified, I am employed there and I have a lot of experience with the cur. So I'm confident that I could make it work very well for me and like be successful basically and pull the data out of it that I need. That's my spiel. That's good.
That's good.
For the record, I asked Optimate, which is our like internal,
of course,
And one answer says it is not a tool. And then Q says it is a tool.
So we're giving it to Savannah. She's allowed to pick this one.
Okay.
Alex.
Well, what else would it be? It wouldn't be a service to optimize.
But
I don't think it's a concept.
It's the background of every other tool. So
No, but you can. Okay, no. Well, you're allowed to have a dashboard too. It's fine. Okay.
Well, that threw a wrench. Give me a second.
That's it. This is you have to think on your feet. This is part of it.
I might need to see. Richard, can I see the categories again?
Yes. That's me doing it. Oh no, I've done something wrong. Let me share my screen. I'm going to non-present mode because I have got it open somewhere.
It's okay. We can play some music in the background. Okay. We've got
tool first concept. Alex, you're on the clock, as someone said.
Okay. All right. So I mean, wildcard.
What?
You're gonna do wildcard now.
I'm gonna do wildcard.
Wait, we can pick the order?
Yes, I said this is the stuff.
She said that. I'll give her that.
I knew you weren't listening.
I mean, I can do tool if you prefer.
No,
do something.
It's okay. I wasn't listening, and that's on me.
I'm surprised we're doing wildcard first, but go.
Yeah,
for it,
a wildcard is the optics team. Which, dang it, someone put in the chat before I said it.
Yeah,
out loud.
I was gonna say that was gonna be my wildcard. Good pick. So the wildcard of having the optics team, rocking horse winner. Good shout. Excellent. Let's put Alex down for wildcard. So Alex, you're gonna take optics. I do love it. Why the optics team, Alex?
Why the optics team? So the optics team, because the best part about the optics team and what I'm most proud of about the optics team is we don't do the same thing twice. So like what we're doing last year, our goal would not to be to do it again. Our goal would be to dive deep into a customer problem, really figure out how to enable teams, not just the FinOps team, but leadership and the tech side and the business side and the finance side to operate now fixing that problem and then dive into the next one. And so I think that bit is hard to get in any tool or anything like that because you don't know what you're going to be building on. You know, the rate that new things come out, everyone's talking AI now, right? Like, what is your next optimization problem? And I think that the best thing about optics is that we're always looking for the next opportunity instead of, hey, let's just keep looking at storage over and over and over again. And bringing in the knowledge of similar unicorn customers that might be having the same situations.
Nice.
I would say too, we have obviously like quite a bulk of expertise. And on the optics team, we have a lot of folks who have spun up FinOps best practices at customers, both as a customer.
Yeah.
Steph's not listening.
We've also lost people to go do that. Allie, if you're listening, we're calling you out. I agree. I mean, I think it's rare that you have a team that has such a broad range of the expertise and backgrounds, whether it's, I mean, Savannah knowing every single piece of the cur in and out and the journey of the cur, or it's, you know, Jeff getting hired in from a customer that we supported, you know, frequently and getting to bring that standpoint. So, and from like the technical and a financial standpoint, I think those things are really important. And it's hard when you're just starting a FinOps practice to be able to represent all of those pieces. So you got to see what's out there to help you supplement that.
Yeah, and Shadow Fox said optics also have built tools, which is very helpful. Love the emoji. Keep that emoji in this line. Okay, all right. I am on the turn, so I'll take over now. I love the different drinking utensils, but it's just like a nice StreamYard one. Everyone's got cool ones.
For the record, if Andy is listening, which I don't think he is because he's filling in for a meeting for me, he told me that people in the UK don't use big water bottles.
We don't use Stanley cups. Have you seen my big one? People recognize this one. I have the big one. But it's not a straw one. Okay, all right, let's keep going. So I'm on the turn, so I get to pick two. So my first one is going to be a role And my role is going to be an executive sponsor. So I want the person that's going to help me, going to be someone senior in the business who is going to drive the efficiency from the top down approach. So I want to get their support as soon as I can. Go on.
Is this internal or external? Like in AWS, are you picking a role or you're picking a role in the company?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not what I expected. Okay.
You're picking a role to add to, your toolbox, right? Yeah, I'm exactly. Thinking like in a tool, like, okay.
Why? Because I feel like a lot of the times when I was a customer especially, I was often trying to fight this idea of like, we could be saving money and I think we should. And the execs at the high level didn't really care because they had so much money and it wasn't a priority, but they didn't really then invest into mechanisms or tools or teams to help us start to optimize and drive that culture, especially when we needed to prioritize certain things to make the rest of the reporting work well or the rest of kind of general optimization work well. And so having someone from a top down often allows you to kind of have that space and listen to your voice and share it. So I think it would be something important to have. So you don't have to convince anybody that you're needed. You can help get that message across and set the rules. So I'm also
someone drop in, or I guess someone, Secret Richard, we do have a blog post from the optics team about executive sponsorship that I strongly suggest people take a look at.
Yeah, for sure. So let's pause here and figure out. I would love to know. We've done our first picks. Before I do my second one, and I slightly vamp. What would you pick in the first thing? Would you pick a tool? Would you pick a service? Would you pick and do the number for each of these guys? So, for example, I would do 4 because I picked a person. Because it's interesting to see, apart from Savannah, who didn't know she could go through a different one. Chat.
But
1, 2,
to be
3,
fair, 4, 5. For not knowing that,
her.
You still, I
you picked.
It was a
you guys picked ones that I were gonna pick, so I'm on. It doesn't really matter. So people were saying role or a tool, which does kind of make sense. It does align to what we would often be doing. Okay, all right. So I'm on the 10, so I get another go. There's 2 that I could pick from, and I'm not sure. Okay, I'm gonna pick my first thing to optimize, and that is gonna be right sizing. Straight out the gate, I want to be able to right size every single thing I do.
Right sizing what? You can't just say right size.
There's so many things to optimize.
Right size your entire environment? That doesn't.
Yeah.
That's
size any compute instances.
Okay.
So RDS or compute.
Okay. Jeez.
Okay. I'm in chat.
Greedy.
Right sizing. So Rick Orks will love you for saying this. The right sizing stuff. What I mean by that is, as soon as I get into there, we try doing right sizing and immediately we're successful. And the reason why I think this is really important is because it comes from a few different places. It means I've engaged with engineering teams and I have used data. Alex have to say we use data. We listen to the data. And so we'll use the data to make decisions. And then we will also have a use case or a kind of case study of story of success that we can share out. And the practices that implemented mean that people are starting to review what they have built. So this isn't a delete things that are wrong. This is a configure so things are correct. So it's a slightly different mindset change. So we're leaning into that culture side of the conversation. Okay, back to you, Alex.
Question about the dashboard.
Yeah.
I am struggling to think of like what the options for dashboard would be.
Yeah, I can go through them if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it like anything listed on the CID?
Like
you only get one of them?
CID.
Any of the CIDs. So I think there's like 15 different dashboards in the Cloud Intelligence dashboards list now. You could also have the cost and usage dashboard, which is slightly different because it sits inside, it's deployed from the console itself. I would also have any dashboard. You could have a CloudWatch kind of dashboard. You could have, I wonder if we joked if Cost Explorer is technically a dashboard. There's a few anything, but anything that's producing visuals for you to analyze. Maybe even S3 can kind of, S3 Lens can fall into a dashboard. It technically is a dashboard, but also could be a tool. So either of those.
Okay.
She's vamping. Chat, what dashboard would you put?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Okay. I'll do role, and I'll do like an automation engineer or something automation.
Okay.
And I would do that because I mean I do think Steph kind of killed it with the executive sponsorship bit, because that is really important. But it's a lot easier to enable and inspire people to start optimizing or thinking about optimizing as they're building if certain parts of that optimization are automatically happening. Like say you could, automatically choose GP3 over GP2. And I also, there's of course different things that you could deploy to do that, like out of the box, but having someone who specializes in that would help kind of evolve it as we go, I think. So I'll say that.
And what I'll say is automation was going to be my concept, but because you've taken it specifically with a role, I won't do that one. So we mix it up. But yeah, Savannah's face.
Concept is so squishy.
That's supposed to be squishy. It could be anything. It's squishy. Okay. It's squishy. Chill out. But yeah, that's a really good choice, Alex. Rocking Horse winner is just like, she had a plan. I feel like
she has I had a concept of a plan, and now it's all off, but that's okay.
Hey, are we filling out our slide as we go? Are you doing that? Okay.
Yeah, Rich is doing that. So we'll do it when Savannah does her 2 choices. So we'll display it to remind everyone.
Hope you're ready, Richard.
Shadow Fox also said S3 Lens is a good one, advanced metrics enabled. Yes, that is a good dashboard option that maybe people forget about. All right, Savannah, you're on the turn, so you get 2 picks.
Okay, and I got 2 picks. Okay. All right. I'm looking at the list of topics. I think I'm going to pick my service to optimize first.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to pick S3 for that, because I feel like with S3, if you get a good strategy really dialed in, like let's say I go really deep on that, I like make sure that we've got a bulletproof strategy, like perfect life cycle rules, everything is like immaculate in terms of my storage footprint. You do that once and you don't necessarily have to like revisit it a ton unless your storage patterns change. Whereas if I picked like EC2, or if I was like, I'm gonna buy a big compute savings plan right out of the gate, other things that I could do down the line might have impacts on that, or it might make me do those things differently. But I feel like, at least in my mind, S3 is kind of like contained. Like you can work on it and not necessarily have to be worried about like, oh, I right-sized compute later and that like impacts my RI strategy or my SP strategy or something like that. So S3 is where I'm going to start. Also, I feel like there's some really big wins there that are like really exciting to see. So yeah, great.
Unicorn company has been storing all the pictures of unicorn, and so they
exactly
optimize that storage.
We have to advertise our unicorn varieties and keep
I would argue that when you optimize storage, you probably see the quickest impact because there's so many different things that go into the compute world that like you can optimize certain parts of compute, but that might take a few months to see the instant results. And I'm assuming we're not saying like the purchase plan as a way to optimize, right? Or is that the concept? Oh my gosh.
Alex,
concepts of a plan.
So obviously they let me run wild doing a fun episode. But they're good. I love the S3 example as well, because like you said, Savannah, this is something that's very stable and something that I would lean into and say a lot, which is like using infrastructure as code to set things up. So how are you using infrastructure as code to deploy your life cycles and make sure that there are guardrails around your bucket. So when it comes to incomplete multiple upload or delete markers or versioning or things like that, you have set these things up securely and so they're ready. All right, let's take a look at the board before Savannah picks her second pick. If I throw Richard's up. So we have, nothing is all off the board yet, but we have 2 of us have picked our optimization and 2 of us have picked our roles, but there's still a lot of different things to play for on the board. So Savannah, what is the next thing you're going to pick?
Yeah, I'm going to pick a role.
Yep.
Can you give me like a distinguished architect with high standards and a little bit of an attitude, please?
This is the best Twitch episode ever.
I love this. A little bit of an attitude.
Oh, what?
Tell
me how specific to be.
No, I love the specifics.
Here's what I thought. Distinguished architect, let's say this person has been at the company for a while. They know what they're talking about. They know the infrastructure, probably have like a bit of a development background. They're high enough up that they have a lot of expertise, but they also have a lot of people who respect them. And then the high standards will essentially like make them excited about making sure that we're optimizing, and hopefully push other people at the company and be that evangelist figure. A little bit of an attitude. Sometimes we need a little bit of an attitude to get things done, both internally and externally. So I would love that little extra sprinkle of motivation.
Looking as winner sounds like a dating profile.
That's actually my Tinder description. No, just kidding.
Alex looks so stressed. Come on, Alex, what's your next pick?
Explain to me concept again.
Okay, a concept is any kind of soft as squishy FinOps concept. So something you would find. Think about the crawl, walk, run aspects of the FinOps foundation. So what are things like that in there? So if I list a couple of things, it could be tagging, it could be culture, it could be forecasting, it could be budgeting, it could be
I got one.
Okay, so things, and for everybody, so things that are maybe not we have saved this much, or we've done something, it's something around that enable you to have a better FinOps culture than just cost optimization. Okay, Alex, go.
Mine would be continuous enablement. So like the mechanism, the concept of not just the FinOps crew, but anyone who's touching AWS, whether it's paying the bills, whether it's developing, whether it's doing Q&A, has continuous enablement opportunities. And I mean, of course, to put like the optics touch on it, the like gamification around that, because I think that that's fun. But I think that is the most important, because how your company budgets or how you approach forecasting can continuously change or change in priority. Whereas enablement, I feel like, is a concept that I can't see a point when it would not be important.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. I love that curveball. I wasn't thinking of that. And Shadow Fox says, I was thinking ownership accountability for a concept. You have accountability to the application level. So that's leaning into like the tagging, but not necessarily tagging. I like that as a description.
Ownership, that's a good,
yeah. Well, it means Savannah, I haven't picked ours yet. But on the turn. So the first one I'm going to go for is a dashboard. And I'm going to pick the Kudos dashboard. At least that way I get some spend data.
How come I don't get to go twice ever?
Because you're on the turn, but you go. I have to wait like four goes.
You go more frequently,
regularly.
Okay. Oh, great. Okay.
I thought that you guys had to draft.
I do, but a draft with 3 people is a little bit harder of a concept.
So I'm going to pick the Kudos dashboard. We bring these up all the damn time, but I do want it because as Savannah well cleverly picked the curse, so I want some kind of raw spend data. And the Lisa dashboard, even though it is jam-packed with potentially too many visuals, at least in there I can go and configure them myself, and I can start to drill down to resource level data. And if I do want to optimize or do tagging, then I can. You can do it. I just won't have access to the SQL version of the curve.
Are we saying that you can configure the dashboards? I thought it was just out of the box. Okay.
Well, that's what it is out of the box.
But like, you just like got that and you can touch it.
Yeah, but you can if I deploy it. If I was working at Unicorn, I could if I deploy it, I can save it as analysis.
Okay, sure. That changes the game for me. But sure, yeah, great.
Yeah, I believe in our prep meeting, the exact words "out of the box" were used. I'm just on Savannah's side here.
I can keep it out of the box. It is correct. Who knows? People don't know. Apparently, the Atlanta Falcons aren't always known for their.
Yeah, I know. It's very true. It's very, very true. That's whose jersey. Hey, Steph, this is the jersey I'm wearing. Is the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, I was like, who knows? You're living in Atlanta. Can they just tell?
Actually, I would challenge anyone to find an Atlanta team that is known for their draft expertise, because it's a big failure.
Okay, it's me again. I'm not going to do wildcard. I've done my dashboard. I'm looking at my notes. Okay, so what have I not picked? Concept and tool. Concept tool. Ooh. What have I already done? Okay, I'm going to go for concept because I can't decide on a tool right now. So for concept, I'm going to go for guardrails.
Oh.
Okay, so I want...
I like it.
So, something different, something that I would love that Alex hates already. Something that I would love to set up if I ever... I don't want to leave the optics team and go and work in-house again. Something I would do setting up a FinOps team is set up processes so people couldn't make mistakes in the first place. So I'm talking about high-level, potentially SCPs, tag policies, config, things that would prevent people from making mistakes, especially when it comes to optimization. And that's where you can hopefully start to get rid of low-hanging fruit without people doing anything specifically around like deployment. So it prevents them from doing it in the first place. And that way, when people build, they build more effectively by kind of getting sense checked by the code. And then when it comes to things like right sizing, which I'm already good at, that from my draft, it means that they can kind of play around with what they're developing and choose things that are going to work better for them rather than worry about making mistakes. Any questions on that?
No, I would challenge it.
Of course you would, Alex.
I mean, I wouldn't challenge it as your decision. I would challenge it as like, you have to be careful with guardrails because what if it stops people from innovating?
That is a good point. That we have time, we could chat about it. The guardrails that especially, there's different levels of it. So people sometimes hear things like SCPs and freak out. And sometimes there's different levels of what you can set. So for example, one big one could be an SCP that doesn't allow you to build like a metal instance, if you could still even deploy those across the board, because they're really expensive, but you might choose it on accident. And that's something we want to prevent. But there are guardrails you could put around a sandbox, which is a good plug for my episode next week, using control tower and budgets to prevent people from spending too much in sandbox accounts. So if you're interested in learning about that, then make sure you stay tuned and subscribe to not only the YouTube channel, but also remember to subscribe to Twitch/AWS. But the way that you can set it up is like different levels of it. Yeah. So you could do some for specific accounts, not production accounts, to stop people wasting money, but also for production, I'm not saying you stop anybody building, but sometimes it depends on the goals. If my exec is saying, yes, I want to control cost of the business, then he's going to allow for us to delay building things when it is going to impact our bottom line to the high level. But I'm putting this in my world. I'm building my world at Unicorn. Go on, Savannah, what do you want to say?
Yeah, I think as long as you have essentially like exception processes to guardrails that are not burdensome, and that's really the key. I think like easy to access and not a lot of red tape to get to for the people that actually need it, and people understand what those are, then I think you're in a good spot. The other common guardrail that I see is folks will lock down different regions, so nobody's like spinning up a bunch of stuff in a local zone or something randomly, because that could get expensive.
Yeah, especially when you're doing things through, I've done this before using the CLI, and I've definitely deployed to Virginia when we definitely only deployed to Ireland. But because I was like, oh, where'd it go? It didn't work. And then this is when I was really young, but I would like deploy again, and people make mistakes and do this.
The drop down in the console, I feel like I've done that before too, where I'm like, where's my instance?
Where
Wrong region.
Oh no, I'm in
I lost him.
I do think it depends. I do think it depends on who's setting the guardrails, right? Like if Steph's setting the guardrails, it makes a little bit more sense because she has building in mind. But if like finance is setting the guardrails, then you're screwed. And I'd also say that more than one person has control of the guardrails because
100%.
We've all been on vacation and had panic.
Yeah, definitely. They shouldn't block production, but they should block mistakes, I think is a good way of doing it. All right, let's pause and we'll show the board again. Oh, Alex is like, is that a new motto she wants to write down?
I'm like,
I'm writing it down.
Okay, the wise words. So what's left on the board? So we have a couple of chunks left. We've got some tools still to pick. That's the one that's probably got the least, and obviously the wildcards and dashboards. Savannah, you can leave, like Savannah, you've got concept as a big space, but you can leave it until the end because we now can't pick concept anymore. So it doesn't have to be an urgent one for you. If there's something you want to take off the board, so Savannah and Alex and I can't get it. And one last thing, chat. Throw in some comments. Like, we're getting to the end. Is there anything that you think we should be missing? We'll read out at the end anything we've missed, any honorable mentions that we have not spoken about. But back to you, Alex. What's your next one?
My next one is tool.
Mm-hmm.
Is data exports a tool different than Kerr?
No, it's the same. It covers the same because Savannah said Kerr/data exports.
Were you going to pick it as tool? But you said it wasn't tool.
Data export I see as a tool. Kerr I do not. Good call. Tool. Oh my gosh.
Think about what's in Werewolf. Think of code language to Alex.
Think about what's in Werewolf.
What?
I mean,
are we allowed to
I have Werewolf up actually right now.
You can't pick Werewolf.
Can I put? Oh my gosh! Hold on. I was going to go with data exports. Give me a second. Maybe I'll do. Okay, I have the categories left of optimization play.
Yeah. Tool and dashboard.
I
Card
would
Stripe
do...
is offering a hand saying purchase models. So offer a big saving.
If I could, that would be good. I mean, I could. I was trying to figure out where that would fit in.
I would say SB commitment suggestion, recommendations engine would probably be a tool.
Yes.
Okay. And
with that said, I would say everything within Cost Explorer, including that, is like the Cost Explorer tool.
Okay, well then I'll say Cost Explorer is my tool because Cost Explorer is evolving.
Yeah, I would say billing and cost management. They're different tools inside.
Well, you guys, Kerr is the basis for all of these tools. It's kind of the thing too.
That's fine. It's just more like you can't access it in SQL. That's what's the Kerr.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Dang it, Savannah. Okay, then I'm going to say Cost Optimization Hub.
Okay, we got that. That's what Rick was like. Just enable it. Yeah, enable Cost Optimization Hub. We're representing Rick. Great shout. Do you want to explain what that one is?
Is that Rick in the chat?
I don't know.
I thought you said that was Rick in the chat. I was like, he's plugging his own
love it. I don't know who Russian Course winner is.
I mean, it's the end all be all, right? I mean, it's like where everything that you can use in the console for cost optimization is living and it's evolving too. So you have to think of like whatever tool you're picking. Same with Kerr. Like I would count Kerr 2.0 as still Kerr, right? Like you have to pick, in my book, a tool that has potential to change and evolve with your environment. I think my biggest thing is, you probably see a theme to my toolbox here, is that everything I'm picking, I want to make sure can grow with me.
Yeah, I see that. Look at your list now. Love Cost Optimization Hub. We had Rick on talking about it before. Oh no, we had Mary talking about it before, sorry. And Rick's mentioned it, but if you haven't enabled it, go enable it. It's a great place to. What I love about it is that it has your recommendations from Cost Optimization Hub as your commitments, also some idle stuff, and also your commute optimized recommendations put together. But it, as everybody knows, I'm sure, but when you get a recommendation, often you could stop this instance, you could resize this instance, and you could buy a savings plan for this instance. You can't do all those three at the same time. So what it does, it will put them all together and show you the most optimal recommendation. You can also decouple them so that you can see what they mean. And then if you're like, oh no, I do want to keep that instance, I'll buy the commitment. Or if it's, oh no, I can delete that instance, I'll get rid of the commitment. And Connor's agreeing that the decoupled savings deduplicated savings are great so that you can get that correct cost saving.
I mean, I would say like originally early years of optics, that was our biggest challenge is how do we show different opportunities without adding them on top of each other and giving you some big number, but actually you couldn't technically do every piece of that, right? I will say I'm the only one that has the optimization play open. So while the rest of the round is going, people throw some ideas into what your top optimization play would be, because the two on my list are taken now. So throw those into the chat while we
Put them in the chat
keep
for
it
Alex.
going.
I'll share them. All right, Savannah, you got on the 10.
Okay. And I have, okay. Okay, I think I'm going to go with dashboard. And I just looked at the list. Kudos is taken. I think I'm going, and we've established that we can edit, which is absolutely groundbreaking for me in my concept of this little world. So I think I'm going to go with the KPI and modernization dashboard, which at some point, it used to just be the KPI dashboard, but now it's the KPI and modernization dashboard. I think that one has a lot of really excellent data in there. It has a really good like benchmarking functionality piece, a lot of recommendations from AWS out of the box in there, a lot of data richness. If I do want to edit it, I've got like very good access to everything else and can kind of like make it my own. So
nice. I think nice and easy. Alex had a big hand in making that dashboard. So I think setting those metrics for success in your team is going to be a great way to track things.
A secret compliment, Savannah. Thank you so much.
It's not that secret, but
okay, Savannah, what's your next one?
Okay, so I can either do concept or wild card. I think I'm going to save my wild card for the end because I've got like, maybe there'll be some discussion around it. And I'm going to pick cost allocation as my concept. I'm going to pick like a really good cost allocation strategy, tying back into that accountability comment that we got on the chat as well. I think most of you at this point know that I am a fiend for cost allocation and love all of our cost allocation tools. It's so important to know who is spending what. And really, like, if you see an instance that's idle, you have to be able to know who to tap on the shoulder to get that resolved. And a cost allocation strategy will help you do that.
Nice. Okay. I think, especially getting those account structure, that links into a lot of what we said when it comes to looking at spend, when it comes to guardrails, automation. If you had that good ownership, then you definitely can choose things a lot easier. All right, Alex, what have you got left? You've got two things. Wait, I'm going to share the board. Richard is ready.
Yeah, let me see the board for a sec.
Okay, so left on Alex is first optimization and dashboard. They're the two you have left.
Okay, so you guys said S3.
Oh, KPI is for dashboard. Richard will change that. So yeah.
And okay, well, I mean, dashboard, I would pick the good old-fashioned cost intelligence dashboard. I know it the best. I understand it the best. I also know the use case around it. So I mean, I think I'd have to go with the OG on that one. But KPIs would have probably, if Savannah hadn't picked that, would have been my pick, just because I think how people visualize, and you want to give people the freedom to visualize how they perceive, and people in your own org are going to see things different. We see things different on the team as well. But having those central KPIs, I do think is really important and can drive impact on that. But since Savannah took that one, cost intelligence would be my next one, just because because of how I know to navigate. And I would argue to anyone who's listening to this for advice on FinOps at all, or just looking or listening to this to hear us banter, the perfect tool is what you can enable other people to use. So, I mean, like, the end all be all tool might not be the perfect tool if you don't understand it or know the ins and outs of it, because then how are you going to teach other people to optimize and to understand? So I would take that into account if you're thinking of it. What were you about to say, Steph? You look like you were about to.
No, I'm thinking about my turn.
Oh. I thought you were going to be like, great point, Alex.
Great point, Alex.
Great point, Alex.
We love it. We have to say that to our boss. Okay, so over to me for my last two. Okay, so tool. I'm going to pick the optimization data collector as a tool. So this is the data lake concept that pulls in data from across an organization of lots of different services. It's a sneaky pick, but I'm doing it anyway because I want to do well. But this pulls in everything. So it pulls in inventory data, stuff for the Graviton dashboard, stuff for the compute optimizer, trusted advisor, anomaly detection, budgets, everything. So this is a massive thing that pulls all this data into a centralized location so you can have a single pane of glass to see your spend. And I think especially when I want to be sharing this to different teams, then I want to be able to get it all together, produce reports, produce recommendations, but also start to do, even though my concept isn't allocation, isn't like Savannah's allocation, but having those kind of things, I can see my data across the board is important to me.
I like that all of us for Tool like picked something big where we could see everything, optimizing for scale. Give me all the things and then we'll filter it ourselves.
Yeah, we'll get through these quickly because I think it'd be good to actually go through our boards and see if there is a trend. We're also going to do a poll and see who has the best one. And my second one is the wild card. So the wild card, I really encourage everyone to be silly. I think I'm just going to be sorry, because I think this is the vainest thing I've ever done in my life. My wild card is going to be the entire backlog of keys to AWS optimization episodes, so I can watch everything that we've ever spoken about. Because I don't. There's
almost 200 stuff.
That was my play. It was either the optics team or it was that. But I just thought it'd be funny just to advertise my own concepts because we've been doing this show for a couple of years now. There is so many episodes about every single topic under the sun that I don't even remember doing half of them. So I would like to choose that so I could learn back and listen back to all the stories and success stories we have.
Well, and the difference too is that we give situations. I think that is what makes it a little bit more obtainable. Like you could read stuff all day long, but hearing people talk through a problem, at least for me, it makes it a lot easier to apply.
Yeah, and you get all the demos. And also one thing that we do, if you don't know, if you're watching on YouTube, below every show, we have links to all the content we reference. And after today's show, I'll put links to everything we've referenced today, all the different tools, services, everything, just so that there's that entire library of knowledge that you can get hold of.
Yeah, I have definitely had like a customer call pop up on my calendar or like an EVC request from a customer that I haven't spoken to, and they have like a topic that I'm not super familiar with. And then I'm like, oh my God, and go through all our Twitch episodes. And I'm like, oh my God, someone save me, someone save me. And like every time there's someone there to save me and I watch it and I'm like, okay, I got it. I can like speak to this at least at like a 100, 200 level and then know what questions to ask so I can take it back and deliver value to this customer. So +1
exactly.
stuff.
And got yourself. Represent. Okay, Alex, your final pick.
Modernization.
Nice.
For what?
First up.
Dang, I was hoping you were going to ask that.
No, like for which category? For which category?
First optimization. She's got
like
it right.
My optimization.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just forgot which one was last.
Yeah, so. Modernization. Because I feel like that can apply. Well, because I see Graviton, I agree, but like, what if there's a new and greater Graviton in the future that I'm not, the Graviton then no longer applies? Like, what would be, what would be something that could apply to a lot of different environments? Also, like, what if the unicorn company doesn't really have a application for Graviton?
Yeah. How do you modernize that? Just modernization in cloud AI, probably. If we're modernizing schemes, you could allow this. This goes with Alex's concept of like building things that are going to keep going.
It also goes with my reInvent talk, modernization, optimizing your Gen AI application. So join us.
Yeah, you can't register because Alex's session is full, but you can always walk up if you're going to reInvent. So make sure you grab that time in your diary.
Which I strongly suggest. It's rare, I think, that people can't at least.
Yeah. People get to it. Yeah. People get to show up. Okay, and Savannah, your last two?
Okay.
One.
I have one, and it's wildcard.
You have wildcard. Okay,
I have a pick that I've really thought of that I think might be contentious. So I'm going to say it, and if you guys fight back, I have a second pick. Okay. So my first wildcard wish, my big wildcard wish, is a development staff at my company that's jazzed and excited about cost-aware architecture and cloud-aware architecture. Because I think fundamentally, like if I have a development staff that's like excited about improving their architectural framework in a way that is more cost aware and more like cloud first, and doing some of that work, I'm going to be more successful because A, like they want to do that, and B, they're excited about doing that and receptive to feedback.
Yeah. I think that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, because wildcard could technically be anything that would have fallen into a different category too.
Yeah, it could be anything. Yeah. So having that strong development team, I think, is overlay. You're kind of leaning on Alex's engineer, but I think having a full development team is
like all of my engineers at the company, when I'm like, you should try moving to like EKS or trying out Lambda for some of these workloads that could be stateless. If they're like, no, I don't want to change anything, like that's an uphill battle. So I'm wishing
just saying you want like
for excited people who will try and are excited about doing
like
that.
Young developers that did never do on-prem. That's what it sounds like.
I don't think there's necessarily like an age component. You can be a builder who's excited to innovate at any age.
Oh, shots fired in the chat.
Sorry.
No, that's not what we were thinking. Someone said
no, that's not what I'm saying.
No, we're not going to concept there. Just to throw this up, and before we move off the reInvent chat, these are all the talks for reInvent. Some of them, all of them are great. Some of them serve spaces in. Who is it? I think this is Wade. Oh no, wrong one. I think this is Wade. COP 2013 has a few spots left. It does. Register. Okay, let's have a look at the final board. So running through these, Alex has tool cost optimization hub, Savannah has Kerr, I have optimization data collector. For first optimization, Alex has modernization, Savannah has S3, and I have right sizing. For concept, Alex has continuous enablement, Savannah has cost allocation, and I have guardrails. For role, Alex has an automation engineer, Savannah has attitude with attitude.
Architect.
Distinguished architect with high standards and a little bit of attitude. Very specific.
And I have an sponsor. Alex has the cost intelligence dashboard, Savannah has the KPI dashboard, and I have the kudos dashboard. And for wildcard, Alex has chosen the amazing optics team, Savannah has a jazz development team, and I picked myself. So I'll leave this on the board, and I want to know, so quickly looking at that, who has the best draft? So we're going to do this across different channels. We're going to do this on hopefully social media as well. So I want to know in the chat, let's get this first poll, if it will load.
I'm sorry. I love it. I love that Steph is Steph's biggest fan. Also,
I know.
The optimization data collector, didn't you make that also?
Yes.
She also made kudos. I mean, part of kudos. Half of Steph's thing is which should show everyone the impact that Steph has on the world of FinOps.
Exactly. I'm amazing. So one is my roster, 2 is Savannah's, 3 is Alex's.
You can't vote for yourself, Steph. That's not fair.
What?
I see you voting for yourself in the chat.
Hey, the game. I'll do it again. Oh no, but I just got told off saying I can't post the same message by. Boom.
Wait.
Okay.
You did it again?
2 of those votes are you.
I'll take it down. Let me just do the other ones. Add 2, add 3. There we go. There you go. I made it even. Okay, brilliant. Let's take that down. So in the last, we are coming up on time. Thank you everyone for playing with us. That was a really fun exercise, and we hope that you learned something. And like I said, this will be posted on YouTube, and you will also be able to find all the links of things that we spoke about today. Definitely just on like closing things. I agree. Alex has got a very nice kind of continuous movement, continuous develop kind of viewpoint. Savannah, I think you can see yours is definitely, I don't know. Do you think you have a theme? I think you have like a broad, especially cost allocation curve.
I think
KPI. Go on.
I think it's like technical and people focused. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I think similar to mine. So mine's a lot of data, a lot of like structure around things, and then I'm also making sure that everything I do has the power from above to kind of keep it going. Thank you everybody in the chat for joining in. We really appreciate it and kind of letting us to continue with this. We've also got a super fun episode happening on the 31st of this month. Yes, Halloween. We will be going to be assembling an amazing FinOps team, so a similar kind of fun episode. So please enjoy and come along and subscribe for that one. Any final things before we leave these guys, Savannah, Alex?
I think so.
No, I think we all assembled pretty stacked rosters, to be honest.
Yeah. This was great.
So,
Great
this was
idea,
fun.
Steph. It was fun.
All right, everybody. We will see you next week and enjoy the rest of your FinOps journey for this week or whatever. Should think of a good segue to the end. I lost my train of thought. Cloud Strivers just said Unicorn team is in good hands. Yes, it is. Hopefully the Unicorn company is 5. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Take care.